Hello, and welcome to this special episode featuring bite-sized messages and practices to help us stay grounded, find calm, and regulate our nervous systems in these final days leading up to the 2024 U.S. election. I'm Julie Neal, and this is Mother's Quest. A few weeks ago, amid some election anxiety and inspired by my friend Katie Hannes, I committed to just 10 minutes of meditation. Lying on my back, I looked up at the wind moving through a beautiful redwood tree in my backyard. As I watched, I listened to the sound of a nearby wind chime. My breath began to slow, my racing thoughts calmed, and I could think and feel more clearly again. If you want a little taste of this moment, you can watch the video I shared on Instagram at Mother's Quest Pod. These are wild, heartbreaking, hopeful, and scary times, and the stakes are high. There's tragedy abroad and in our own communities, and it often feels like democracy itself is on the line. Mothers in my circle, especially, are trying to figure out how to show up for our children, contribute to this election, care for ourselves, and weave together a stronger community. That moment under the redwood tree reminded me of the importance of finding calm and clarity within the storm. So I reached out to a few of my amazing podcast guests for some perspectives and practices we can all use during this time. I invite you to listen, try some of the practices in real time as you do, and consider adding one or more of these to your daily routine. This first contribution is from recent podcast guest, author, and Revolutionary Love Project founder, Valerie Kaur. When I listened to this beautiful meditation, tears started to flow as Valerie gave me permission to connect to my full range of emotions, including grief and anger. It reminded me of a lesson about integrating my emotions that I reflected on in a post I wrote for Medium shortly after the 2016 election, which I'll link in the show notes. Here's Valerie.
I invite you to place your feet on the earth, and you can close your eyes for a moment and let a deep breath in, let it come. Good, and let it go. Imagine that you are sitting at the foot of a great tree, 1,000-year-old tree, and in the embrace of this mother tree, all the parts of you are welcome here. All the hurting parts of you are welcome. Place a hand on that part in your body where you are most carrying grief. Your grief is not a sign of your weakness. Your grief is a sign of your deep capacity to care, your ability to love. Honor your grief. Place a hand on that part of your body where you are carrying rage. Your rage is loaded with information and energy. Your rage connects you with the capacity to fight for people. Honor your rage. And now place a hand on that part in your body that is longing for love. This part of you has the audacity to love, to dream, to believe that it could be otherwise. In a world that wants you to believe that you are naive or unserious about power when you dream of a world of peace, honor this place of imagination, for we can only live into what we imagine. The warmongers, the demagogues, the terrorists, they want us to believe that only those willing to kill civilians or children for a cause have power in this world. They want us to believe that we are helpless, but there are more of us than them. There are millions of us who are longing for a world of coexistence, who know that justice and liberation and peace run together, who are willing to grieve their children as our children. That audacity to love is the starting point for any solution. So honor this place in you that dares to imagine For it is this place from which you will respond, you will act, you will create, you will speak. You will do your part in the labor, and that is all that is asked of you, to do only your part in the labor, for you are not alone. As you're imagining that great mother tree, imagine that we too are like trees in the forest. There are roots in this earth connecting us. And although it looks as though we are standing apart, we belong to one another. We can send each other information and energy. And that is what we are doing. We are gathering together now to presage the world to come.
Valerie's writing and words have this way of helping us find courage and faith in the darkness. She also beautifully bridges her concepts into words and song that we can share with our children. Keep an eye out for her upcoming children's book, World of Wonder. Another podcast guest and special person in our family's life who has an amazing way of sharing mindfulness practices that both adults and kids can access is my children's pediatrician, Dr. Elisa Song. I love this practice she leads us through here, and I'm excited to encourage both of my boys to try this.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Elisa Song, integrative pediatrician and author of the best-selling book, Healthy Kids, Happy Kids. I'm here to share one of my favorite tools for helping kids and adults stay regulated in an increasingly dysregulated world. One of my favorite mindfulness practices that you can start today with your kids is a 5 senses meditation, what I call stop, look, and listen. A phrase already familiar to most children as they learn to cross the road safely and mindfully. Stop, look, and listen can be done anywhere, anytime, no matter what your child is doing. It's a perfect tool to use when you're enjoying a beautiful moment with your child and you want them to fully engage with the experience while you're walking together on your way to school, or whenever you or your child are starting to feel anxious or dysregulated. Before you begin, explain what stop, look, and listen is to your child. You may need to walk your child through each step the first several times you practice together. And eventually, they'll be able to practice this exercise on their own whenever they need or want to take a mindful moment for themselves. Remember, they can do this anywhere, anytime. So let's practice together now. Stop. Give yourself permission to stop what you're doing for even just a moment. Stop and be still. Start to notice your breath as you take a deep inhale in and then a slow exhale out. Look. Look and really notice what's happening around you with all of your senses, the sights you're seeing, the sounds you're hearing, the sensations you're feeling, the smells you're smelling, the tastes you're tasting. But because our visual input is the most used sense throughout the day, it's easiest to fully engage with all of our senses with our eyes closed first. So have your child gently close their eyes and notice. What do you hear? Do you hear the leaves rustling in the wind, the birds chirping in the trees, or maybe the airplane flying overhead? See if you can notice the quietest of sounds that you hadn't noticed before. What do you smell? Do you smell the fresh cut grass on your neighbor's lawn? What about the dandelion you're holding? Do the seeds smell different from the stem? What other smells do you notice around you? What do you feel? Do you feel the warmth of the sun on your cheeks or the coolness of the breeze on your skin? Or maybe even the tag on your shirt tickling the back of your neck? Do you feel your heart beating in your chest? What do you feel in your body? What else do you feel in or on you? What do you taste? Do you taste the toothpaste you just brushed your teeth with? Or maybe the breakfast you just ate? What do you see? Now, finally open your eyes. What do you see that you hadn't noticed before? Do you see the little bird's nest high in the branches above? Or the sparkle of the pavement like diamonds under your feet? What colors do you see? What shapes can you find? What are your clear eyes showing you now? Listen. Really listen to what your body and mind are feeling in this moment. What emotions are coming up? How easy or difficult is it to stay in the moment? Where is your mind wandering off to? Listen with openness and without judgment. And now, get back to what you were doing, but now with a clear head, heart, and mind. This is an example of a stop, look, and listen moment that I literally had with my daughter Kenzie as we were walking to school one day. You can do this anywhere, whether it's in your room, cuddling, getting ready for bed, or maybe it's on the drive to school and your child just needs that moment to really fully engage before they start the day. So here's to regulating our nervous system in an increasingly dysregulated world, taking the time out to regulate your nervous system and help your kids regulate their nervous system is going to help them and you be as healthy and happy as possible.
I know that our kids pick up on our stress, so I love the idea of using the practice Elisa just shared alongside our children to reduce stress in them and us. Another way to show up as our best selves with our children and for ourselves is to lean into self-care, self-compassion, and to seek the things that bring us joy. I love the share from women's leadership coach and the Path Home podcast host, Jamie Greenwood, with invitations for all of the above.
Not a day goes by when I'm not either coaching a client or facilitating a leadership circle where the conversation of how do we calm ourselves during chaotic times comes up. There are so many things to do, so many different tools that are out there. And I wanted to give you a few of mine. The first thing that I do and that I recommend my clients do when they're experiencing any sort of intense nervous system flare is to place a hand on their heart, take a deep breath, and say to themselves, "Oh, honey, this is really hard. This is really scary. This feels like a lot right now." This is a self-compassion tool, which gets us immediately connected to both what hurts and what's scary, but also connects us to the resilient part of ourselves that is able to hold our fear and be with our fear. The second thing I'm recommending my clients and people do is truly connecting to their joy. Joy in the middle of chaos is not selfish. It's actually one of the things that gives us greater resilience to then resist the things in the world that we want to fight against. So what truly brings you joy? I've been putting on a lot of music that I used to listen to in my 20s, which is fantastic. It just fills me with a type of lightness that I don't always feel as a business owner and a mother and a partner with so much on my plate. I've also been spending a lot of time in water and feeling my own connection to nature and my smallness in the grand scheme of things, which is actually a wonderful thing to experience when we're feeling overwhelmed. Often when we're feeling overwhelmed, we feel small, but not in a significant or important way. We feel small in a helpless way. Connecting to nature helps us realize how vast and gorgeous the world is and what it has to teach us. And the last thing I want to offer you is a phrase from my friend Brooke Hofsess. She is a coach and an artist and a professor, and she likes to say this: "You are out of breath. You are not out of courage." So what do you need to catch your breath? Do you need to take some big deep breaths? Do you need to go on a walk? Do you need to cry your eyes out? Do you need to donate money or volunteer your time? What's going to help you catch your breath? Because there is no way you are out of courage. I hope that's helpful. I'm sending you lots of love.
You are out of breath, but you are not out of courage. Thank you for sharing this, Jamie, and also for the invitation to think about how we can catch our breath. For more wisdom about the power of our breath, I love the insight shared by Dr. Avanti Kumar-Singh, Ayurveda wellness expert, certified yoga therapist, and former ER doctor. Avanti is also the host of the Healing Catalyst podcast, where she shares more wellness wisdom, including insights from her own recent cancer journey this past year. Here she is.
Hello, I'm Dr. Avanti Kumar-Singh, and today I want to share a really powerful tool with all of you for calming and settling your nervous system in difficult times: the breath. The breath is truly medicine. The breath is a bridge between our body and our mind, an anchor that keeps us grounded in times of uncertainty. Breathing is something that we do naturally without any thought. But when we bring conscious awareness to our breath, it can become a powerful tool for healing and transformation. There are two parts of the breath, the inhale and the exhale. Now, each part of the breath has a unique impact on our body and mind. The inhale is energizing and exciting. So when we inhale, we draw in life force or prana, which fuels our energy and increases our alertness. On the other hand, the exhale is calming and relaxing. And as we exhale, we release tension and stress, allowing our body and mind to settle into a state of peace. Now, by understanding these two aspects of the breath, we can tap into their power to support us in any situation. Many people think that breathwork or pranayama has to be really fancy techniques, but that's not true. Because the most powerful breathwork is the one that you actually do when you need it the most, a practice that you can do anytime, anywhere. For instance, when you need more energy or focus, you can extend the length of your inhale. This could be as simple as taking a longer, deeper breath in, filling your lungs completely before a natural exhale. Try it now with me. Take a deep breath in, feeling your chest and abdomen expand, and then let the breath go naturally. Do this a few times and you'll notice how this energizes you, bringing clarity and focus. On the other hand, when you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious or stressed, you can extend the length of your exhale to calm and relax your nervous system. This technique stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for your body's rest and digest response. Let's try it together. Take a normal breath in, then extend your exhale slowly and gently until your lungs feel empty. Feel the tension melt away. Your body will relax, and each prolonged exhale will help you relax more and more. Practicing these breathing techniques regularly can help you build resilience, making it easier to navigate difficult times with a sense of calm and balance. It's a simple yet profound way to harness the power of your breath to support your well-being. Remember, you always have this incredible tool with you at all times. Whenever you find yourself in a challenging situation, take a moment to connect with your breath. Whether you need a boost of energy or you need to find your calm, your breath is always there to guide you. I hope this practice helps you.
To close us out, I'm honored to share these profound words from my dear friend, Genji Heiston, founder and CEO at Blaze Consulting, advocate, life coach, facilitator, and author of the book Beyond the Hashtag, The Spirit, Heart, and Love of Black Men.
When I think about these times that we live in, as we raise children and in all truth raise ourselves as women, there are a few things that over the last couple years of dealing with grief and transition and sickness and goals and littles turning into teenagers that I have rested in, things that I have explored, and the truth is did not become revelations or applicable life skills until I had little to no hope. And so today I want to share with you these three things that were birthed through grief, the loss of my mother, through grief, the loss of my own health for a long time, and through grief, the loss of who I thought I was and had been building to be for 45 years. On the eve of turning 48, I must sit here and say to you, my sisters, to you, mothers, to you, aunties, community mothers, and just women, is that we are here in this moment in history for a reason. And our families, our community, and the world needs us. And so here are the three things as a human, a life coach, and a fellow sojourner in this world I want to offer you. One of the things I have found is trust the wisdom within and the wisdom without. That we have lived, I assume many of us, long enough to have survived some things, to have triumphed, to have questioned, to have had bliss, to have had questions. And if we sit in the stillness of time, breathing in nature, in a safe space, and reflect within, there is wisdom that we have acquired along the way. And part of what I am embracing in the aging process is that wisdom that we acquire throughout years is a gift. Give yourself the gift of hearing your own internal wisdom, asking yourself questions, searching your soul and your heart deeply, and then the wisdom without. One of the things I know about every woman listening to this is you come from a woman, whether those relationships were healthy or not. We come from women who survived something. And many could argue that they have survived greater things than some of us. And while we're not comparing our struggles, we should compare our victories. And so in this moment, whatever you are searching or suffering through or reaching for or trying to purge, remember that we as women have been nurturing this planet, this world since inception, that we are Mother Nature, that we are the beauty and the spice of it all, and that there is wisdom in the lessons of women who came before us. Now, they don't have to be in your bloodline to be the wisdom you need. They're in books, they're in poems, they're in songs, they're in music, they're in just watching people watching and watching how women interact with other women. They're all around you. And then the third I want to offer you, all my sisters, is face forward. Face forward. There is a forward in your life calling you. And the only way we get to that forward is we find peace with our past. We show up in the present. We set goals for the future, and we put one foot in front of the other. Face forward in your health, in your emotions, in your spirit, in your body, in your relationship, in your desires and dreams for yourself. Because we as women, through history and time, have proven that we will survive and we will thrive. And now it's our time to prove that to the next generation. Face forward, trust your wisdom, breathe, and remember, you are phenomenal. Blaze forward.
I could listen to and be inspired by Genji's voice every day. And I'm excited that soon we'll be able to do that with a podcast of her own. So stay tuned. I am grateful to Valerie, Elisa, Jamie, Avanti, and Genji for saying yes to my invitation when I reached out in need and sharing these thoughtful contributions with us. I encourage you to follow them in all the places and tune into my past podcast episodes with them for more wisdom. After listening to all that they shared, I felt more clear, calm, and ready to contribute this election season. If you listen to this episode and try any of the practices they recommend, I'd love to know how they are supporting you. Share in the Mother's Quest Facebook group or on Instagram and tag me at Mother's Quest Pod. I'd also love to hear any of your own practices or those you've learned from others that are helping you. ending with a reminder that we do not have to do this alone, and some words I wrote in that Medium post I referenced from 2016. After getting support then from my first podcast guest, Navjeet Kandola, much like I did now, I wrote, I feel like I'm breathing now for the first time in over a week. And though moments of fear, sadness, and outrage still come, instead of pushing them down, I am breathing them in, mixing them with equal parts hopefulness and love, and a commitment to do my part to take action. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this episode of the Mother's Quest podcast. I hope this conversation sparked something that will help you live your epic life. If you'd like to get show notes and learn more about how to join the Mother's Quest community, visit mothersquest.com. And while you're there, I would love it if you would follow the prompts to subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and help us to spread the word. I want to end with some words to help light the way on your quest. Seize the day, love your people, honor your gifts. Until next time.